Oh, this will be the last video that I'm going to upload. Now I'm selling the house and I decided to leave USA as they wish. And I've been shooting the laser and it has not been purposely. FBI and Anchorage police was not purposely investigating. Now I knew the reason why. Because last in college was making a white umbrella toward the communists. There are people that war is a white play, so do not take care what I'm going through, and it's white play toward the minority, so don't do it. That's what the last and college member, while they keep the white people's cartel line and in government system, and they also contacted the Anchorage member. And then at the same time, Mexican control the minority, police, government, whatsoever there, like Russia, Mohammed. So while Lassen make up, white umbrella, cover and tell their community where is the white play. So let them play. It's toward the minority. And at the same time, Mexican control this Russian, Mohammed minority that they were working together and they were not doing it. So this is like a corporation. Within the government is a corporation, but toward the society, Latin community was telling, and also this corporation's Mexican, community, and also the minority like Russian to their community. So everything has been blocked about my cases. So it was not being resolved. Last 9 years, it was continually dragging. And whose plan? By the Mr. Chang and Mexican plan. Once I returned to University of Toronto, by ruining my life, they were going to send me back to South Korea. So they did again. Besides 2008 University in Toronto, 2017, once I walk into the Grand Rapids police station, there is a white police officer. Behind is a Mexican, white jag, and put me in the mental hospital, lie again. That's police's second misconduct they created. So I ruined my citrus college. And they were doing up and down by borrowing abroad technology, like spreading through the SNS. The whole town is up and down. They want me to forgive the police officer, so I did. Now I noticed that why community do not want to chop their people. I don't know. It seems like it's because it shows the finalization shows the racism, maybe because the finalization maybe turn around as racism. So maybe like toward my case, they didn't want their people to be, punished. None. This is a feeling that I was getting. So the university, they are suing the headache things. Because they set it up. I've been telling 18 months, and then everything was being blocked, and by using my case, they were going to flip the society towards the white. This is what they were planning on doing it. That's why they purposely did not resolve Susan Bill Lassen cover. And while Mexican and all this minority, Russian, Mohammed, Chinese, Korean was, working on it under the Lassen College white umbrella. And this is what was going on. And then this global play is, everybody knows that this global play is a Mexican play. Mr. Chang met the the man who lives with the Mexican American woman, and then also has bear the two kids between Mexican and both of daughter. I think they went to U.S. Army and then became soldier as police, and then they hold up police Mexican police organization. So they play just like and they play hard, and they create more solid Mexican American police organization along with their government member. They create a corporation and minority to build up together. And then, right now it's more likely Indian because they are the one who's supplying all this like criminal technology, IT criminal technology, and also Mohammed, all this minority. They create a corporation while just like a top people who marry, just like a Trump married to Southern America, and Vice President, the Kamala is white, but she's more like a minority. So with this mix, they were creating this corporation, make U.S. this more dictator, and probably to them, they will say the word we are Democrat, but police and FBI and this law enforcement was planting society, their street people, and shut your mouth up, whatever we are doing. And then once you, just like, somebody, I say, you hear? He say, yes. And you hear? No, I don't hear. It's like they make society like that by planting. They're kind of, as long as it's not their belong to their work, they don't want to say the truth. They kind of avoid it to each other, and then they only want to get away their own side. Okay, so this is what's going on in USA. So yeah, while they made a corporation where we are Democrat, and along with all these kind of things, with the multicultural system, but at the same time, these police and FBI, they were creating society, sociocrat, and by planting their street people, hacking, wiretapping, while abroad criminal technology is supplying all these IT criminal technology, and they were operate these police line, behind their uniform. I happen to find out they're operating a business, and they operated this kind of business, that kind of business, along with the IT criminal technology abroad is providing, or they brought by their own, and local is supplying. Yeah, that's what they were doing it. And in California, once they hooked the Los Angeles College work toward their white community, what the white people did it. So covered by the, they make an umbrella toward the white community. Where what we are doing, you have to cooperate because the white play. At the same time, because Mexican police, they play, so Mexican community also they play. They play lie about my life, so they want lie to be true. So they completely blocking my nursing career, okay, in California, that everybody knows now. And they even create a lie. I threatened my ex. This is how I failed University of Toronto, and so on so far. And the lie they were spreading like continually from the abroad through the SNS. And then this laser shooting, yeah, that's what's going on. And then this laser shooting, I've been reporting to the Anchorage Police Department and even FBI throughout the USA. Even Washington FBI, dispatchers, staff knew who I am. Okay, they don't want to investigate it because throughout the FBI, they don't want to investigate it because they believe in that it's a white, laser shooting toward the minority. So you want to invade it, so we are shooting to you, so it is a fair thing, and we don't want to investigate it. This was white people's attitude. I think now I see that, so even though I was being sued, even though I was being victimized, because they behave unfairly. Well, knowing that I did not do anything wrong, okay? They think that, this all minority is attacking white and dang. So last 19 years, Anchorage Police Department did anything. And then at the same time, these minority Mexican, later Russian, Mohammed, and all other, community, they were also supporting not to investigate it because by using my case, they want to flip. So while one thing they sees white saying that white is doing it, so do not do any. Okay, at the same time, by showing my case how white is taking care, at the same time all this minority wants to flip. And who was working on Mr. Chang and Mexican between. So white, even though what I'm going through throughout the USA, they all know. And then who covered the white as the last thing. And then at the same time, everybody was working. So that's why even though I was being sued by the laser 19 months in Anchorage Police Department didn't do anything, FBI didn't do anything, entire US FBI didn't do anything. Even though, and I think their characteristics, the way the unfairness of system, U.S. police system, Mexican already knew. So they were kind of using the circumstance at the same time they hold not to investigate it. Okay, while let white people to work on it, while Mexican worked on it. So holding this case not to do anything. And when it happened, when I think it started to happen was where because Mexican was blaming my asset and also the Mr. Chen. They let in Anchorage. They let people to go after my house. Russian was going after my house, and then they also tell Russian community to squeeze my fund. So they were doing it. My property assessor, increased my house more than the true house value. And then State Farm, everybody told me that I will get a refund, but she's the one who fucked up. So I was, I deposited, this check was sent. But since I got the money, they contact the State Farm agency and then, not to accept it. But everybody was saying that, I should get a refund. And then also property and that, and also the Richard case too. And I contact all FBI. I contact, Anchorage Police Department. I even contact Congress. Congress was, holding my case because, what they are hearing was white people is just shooting. And last in college who did it, it's white toward the minority. So they were kind of holding it. But while I was working, this Espanol and install the device to shoot the laser, and then they were shooting next day about 11 a.m. And then I think they shoot her during night 2 more times, and she was totally out of control, and sleep all day, and they cannot walk as she used to be. And then she was kind of Russian, and her husband was a high position of governor and worked in Alaska about for probably like 30 years or 40 years, and he passed away. And then they find out, of course, they were living together, who has been sued by they cut up. And then knowing it was not white people shooting, and then also being sued to the white people, people nowadays, they kind of sense that the minority wants to flip. So the people in Dan Sullivan, Congress office got alert and sent my case to the FBI to investigate it. And in a way, the Mexican already knew it was to me. I live in USA for 42 years. I don't think it was only white people's selfishness. They manipulated my case in order to flip it, and then this corporation power was holding it. this corporation is I think they created by the Mexican. It's so, like like a vice president, like white Indian or Mohammed, Russian, Mexican, and even Asian. They holding it. This corporation in government field, just like how the White House and even Trump, the wife, Korean wife is Espanol, is from the Southern America. So I think now he used not to be in this corporation, but I guess now he is in. So my case was more likely this, corporations manipulation along with the abroad while they were receiving criminal technology in order to earn more money. And I also happened to find out, and I was just speaking, well, I could say the Mexican, I could say the Asian, Asian, Russian, but they were told not to speak the Russian, Mexican. I could speak Russian, Ukraine. Why not? Because I think they are the one who created. They are the one they were telling not to speak the. I don't know why. I don't know. Because they do so bad? Because they were holding the power? Or because they were the one who created? I don't know. I don't see the reason and they don't tell the reason. Just do not talk about the Mexican. Maybe they want to hide it. Then I don't know. But that's how the people was behaving even in my shelter. So I do not know. You might know, but I do not. Okay. So yes. Yeah, this situation is more likely manipulated. And it was just going on for 9 years. Okay. 9 years, it never stopped. And they were continually using because of the Mr. Chang, okay? Because while he was providing all this criminal technology to Mexican, Mexican cannot, deny what Mr. Chang wanted it. Okay, so he was continually ongoing my case because the only case he knows from abroad was me. And he was supplying all kinds of sort of criminal technology. And they did really bad. And then AKPD, where Alaska, this is what people were saying, Mexicans start to migrate once they met the 2018, Mexican met the Mr. Chang in Southern California. Starting from that point, they start to migrate. This Mexican line start to migrate in order to conquer the USA. And along with the criminal technology, Mr. Chang was providing from the abroad, or hacking, and I think they were having a contract that whatever US this line one, Mexican line wants one, they will provide everything, all this criminal technology. Well, they have all these line, Chinese, Korean, Mohammed line, Indian line, and China, Korea, China. I don't think their government. Chinese Korean is saying the China government is involved, but I don't think so. They are saying to their community, saying that China is involved, but I don't think their community, their government is involved. South Korea partially is like they hold a line, but not the whole system. They hold a line to find out what's going on. But they, unlike US is, playing, entire system is playing, South Korea entire system is not playing. Because the difference between me, well, especially 19 months while I was being sued by the laser, Anchorage Police Department didn't take care. Anchorage FBI did not take care. White House is ignored. Entire FBI is entire system was playing along with the corporation. Because who created is police system and FBI. And unlike, because the South Korea entire system is not playing, once I told, there is kind of razor, like a electrical thing, they scan, or it seems like they are hacking, or, 2 months later, police system busted entire building. So Mr. Chang and Chinese Korean police and detective, they definitely play. They control their community. Along with their community, they control the criminal organization. That's a definite. And that through them, Mr. Chang was working together. Mr. Chang has been convicted and sentenced. He doesn't have a power. Okay, he might has a connection, but since he already convicted and sentenced, I don't think people, their crew even will give him a credit in order to do something together. So Mr. Chang is more likely going through the Chinese Korean, criminal organization line that is supported by the Chinese Korean and police and detective, just like here in USA and Mexican. So these two, Chinese Korean and Mexican American, now playing 9 years together. The one thing that I want to mention about it was Mexican cartel and Espanol cartel, they hook people and feed the drug, and they, ruin their life. And then they they escape. And then they follow. They continually sell, try to sell the drug to them. They totally ruin their life and then make on disability. And they follow wherever they go. This laser shooting is a street laser shooting who created the cartel line, the Mexican Espanol, who built up the cartel line within the police system, within the government system. They have the same technology. I think who was shooting it, since it is operated underneath is Mexican who operate the cartel, the drug market. They were behaving same pattern. Wherever I go, they were shooting the laser to that house. But the sound of the inside, this laser sound to shooting inside of the house has a strength, like a volume. It goes up and down, okay? Because I've been hearing all the time, I could sense more immediately compared to other people who just hearing, because they shoot at lower volume, okay? Why do that? What is the purpose of, but, they are ex-soldier. They are ex-soldier, but they will behave, they are ex-soldier. They are the one who's following. They are the major leader who's after me for their police member who did the work to me, okay? So it was the same pattern. Like they hook the people's drug and then they follow. This late because it's the same. They are the one who created. So they have the same pattern. Wherever I go, they were shooting. And then if I go to shelter, they were shooting it. If I stay home, they were shooting it. I think the reason that I mentioned is that this thing need to be corrected in USA. There is no reason to behave this way, Mexican. Really. You came here in order to live good, not to make USA to Espanol, one of crazy Espanol country. So, why you came and make this USA same as you used to live. Okay, so this thing needs to be correct. Yeah, it was the same pattern. I was shooting the laser inside of home, and then I went to the shelter in order to escape. But Mexican, Samoa, the Hawaiian, they set it up. And I was given by the bed, exactly the same bed that I used to have. And they start to shoot the, laser, knowing that where I used to be. Because I used to open my cell phone on that bed. So they set it up. So just like, they sell the drug and hook it and follow it, the laser was the same thing, tracing it. And that's what people were just saying. Okay? What is that for? Why you wanna ruin people? That number one, I couldn't understand. While you don't work hard yourself, and why you are there to ruin people's life and society, and especially the Mexican. Okay? Why you are there to? That my background, where I came from, I just do not understand. Now it has been ordered from USA to ruin Asia, China, Korea, and Japan. And who's doing it? It's Chinese Korean. Yeah, Chinese Korean. Why? So it seems like you are jealous to white, you are jealous to Asian. And what are you for? Then what are you? Yeah, they were ruining, and it seems like they got the order, and by ruining, and then this psycho, Mr. Chang, and by ruining, and he think that he could do something. He think that he could do something. All this mess has been created by the U.S. police line. Okay, why allow it? While they play with the Mexican, and then they added up the minority. So now entire police system is playing almost in FBI too. Yeah. And my laser shooting, because I was minority, because it was white play, it was not investigated at all. They were making the Mexican and white who plays together was making the society that way in order to get what they want. Honestly, white, I don't know how much they do know detailedly, but now it seems like they are kind of getting into it. But white, I don't know how much, because when I look at Christy Mayer's fraud restraining order, she had no idea what the heck was going on. She was just doing the front work. Just like many white people, white community people do not know what the heck is going on. They're only doing the front part, okay? The connection that they were playing together, told to do, so they were doing, and that's it. They're not really operating organization, not like a Mexican, Espanol, this, police organization do. So they don't really know. But my case was creating that way in order to flip it. Yeah. So, well, even though we are say minority, but going through, I did nothing wrong, and everybody knows that I did nothing wrong. But they were setting up. Now I kind of want to blame to the Samoa. We are saying minority, and you blame the white is bad, and you knowing what I'm going through, and you are setting up together behind it, and I did nothing wrong. And I don't know, maybe because they have a double mind and people has a triple mind. Okay, they only look at their benefit of it. So maybe that's why it was happening. Knowing the truth, and then just like following, following house shooting and shelter shooting and things like that doesn't need to be cut off. And whose pattern is Espanol, Espanol drug, and and also my life, and I feel like it was their pattern. They want to ruin it. They want to ruin it till to the end. That